Yes, good evening to everybody, to the students of the International Human Rights Law. Welcome to the today class and our last class, that is on Friday, that we dealt about the effectiveness of the UN in the promotion and protection of the human rights. Okay, now to be safe side, okay, because I expanded it so much, it seems. So I will make it. Okay, now we read what I posted on the screen. Could you easily make it out, or is it so? Is it a big one? Because I expanded it. Could you see that what I posted on the screen? This I expanded. Say all human. Read all human.
All human.
All
Human.
all human. What is Chini?
All equal.
Yes. All human, all equal means human beings are equal. There is no discrimination. So that is the point. Okay, let us come back to our yes, course is concerned. Then I will magnify it. Oh, it has gone. When you magnify it, yes. So we are dealing with the Human Rights High Commission. The High Commissioner have to here. I'm reading this. Could you see that my cursor? Could you see my cursor? Could you see my cursor? Do you know what is meant by cursor? Paul, you are with me. Second of all, are you with me? Please speak.
Yes.
Please speak. Do you know what is meant by cursor? If you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, you say pass on. I will give the answer. Krishna Masanja, do you know what is meant by cursor? cursor, cursor. See the cursor which I am moving over here. That is called cursor. Are you following me? At least say yes. Are you hearing me? Say at least yes. Anyone? I say anyone can unmute and say. Hey, why you are not speaking? I don't know. What's the problem?
Good evening, Professor.
Donati Maliva.
Yes, good evening, Professor.
Good evening. I say the question. Did you hear it? Did you know what is meant by cursor?
No. Pardon?
Cursor, cursor. cursor, cursor. Oh, you don't know what is meant by cursor. You say, if you don't know, you say pass on. I will give the answer. Don't waste the time.
I don't get the question.
Do you know what is cursor? Shall I write it on the... I will write it so that you could know. Otherwise, you are not following me. See, here I am right. I think I am right in the spelling. Let me check it. I asked.
Yes, Professor.
I asked that, and do you know
Yes,
cursor?
I do hear you, Professor.
Do you know what is cursor?
Yes.
Do you know what is
Hello?
cursor? Suppose if you don't know, you just tell me. Sorry, I don't know. I say pass on. You are wasting the time unnecessarily. But I will give the answer. Cursor means see what I am moving. Here, are you? That is called cursor. Did you get my point?
Sir.
I
Yes,
asked the
that one we
question.
know.
Do you know cursor? That is my ad. See the cursor I am passing here. Where I am passing the cursor? Can you read it? Where I am passing the cursor?
High commissioners have
Yeah,
to
that is the
carry.
cursor. Yes. Now, do you know what is cursor? Say yes.
Yes.
But why you are not giving the answer earlier when I asked you? At least you did not say that, pass on. I will give the answer. You wasted the time at least 3 to 4 minutes. So cursor where I am moving and that I am reading that thing, that is called cursor. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What I am moving? Cursor.
Okay, should we read?
This is the cursor which I am moving over there. Is it clear now, cursor? What is meant by cursor?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. At least you understood what is meant by cursor. So, cursor where I am moving, High Commissioner have to carry out the supervise many key activities, including the developing standards and laws and conducting and coordinating visits and reports by the expert mechanism. Do you know one of the teaching staff from the south who is a member of the High Commissioner in Tanzania? High Commission in Tanzania. Please, if you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, you say pass on. I will give you the answer. My question is,
Yes, sir.
do you know the teaching staff from the south who is a member of the high, that is a national, not of course here regional, the local, High Commissioner, Commission Office member, Human Rights High Commission Office member? If you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, you say pass on. I will give you the answer.
Carlson.
Say pass on. P-A-S-S pass space on. His name is Thomas Masanja. Dr. Thomas Masanja at present, he is a member of the Human Rights Commission in Tanzania, because I think it's a 3 years tenure or 5 years tenure. I'm not exactly knowing. But he is going to join South in September. Is it clear?
Yes, Prof.
Now you tell me who is the member from the South in the Human Rights Commission in Tanzania?
Dr. Masanja.
Say Dr. Thomas Masanja. I read. Okay, now let us come to the cursor where I am moving here. So these are the people, those who make they supervise it and make the key activities, and they write the reports and conducting and coordinating visits and reports by expert mechanism. These members will do. So many field offices of the Office of the High Commissioner for the Human Rights, OHCHR, today provide an on-the-spot assistance and sometimes protection also. Even a local Human Rights Commission makes such a protection, and if any violations should be there, even they themselves will file it on the complaint of the people in the respective courts for the violation of the human rights. Do you know where is the OHCHR head office? I already told you. Office of the High Commissioner, the headquarter in the international level. If you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, you say pass on. Anyone? Donati Maliba, you are also present. Now you tell me. Sir, I don't know. Geneva in Switzerland. Geneva in Switzerland. Okay. Now, Human Rights OHCHR today provides a on-the-spot assistance and they will protection also. And OHCHR prepares the summaries of the information about each country in the world for the new universal periodic review procedure. So the OCHR will make a report of the each country, because each country will send the report to the OCHR. So the High Commissioner must also manage to substantial staff has grown from the 100% to 1992 over 1,000 today. Who Human Rights Commission's members in the different spots of the world. So with an expanded budget, there are now 58 OHCHR field and country presences there. So the 58 OCHR offices are there in the world now. So by examining the case studies, it became clear that leadership and credibility and accountability are required for the High Commissioner for the human rights to be effective. So if want that human rights should be effective, what should be the credibility would be there? They'd say it became clear that there should be a leadership and the credibility and accountability and required as a for the high commissioners. So whoever becomes an high commissioner, they should have such a qualities. For what? For effective, for human rights to be effective. For that purpose. So a person generally, what generally, it's a must. Having the background of law, if he is a member of the Human Rights Commission. So the High Commissioner must show the independence and exercise the self-activating mandate and defend the universality of the human rights, and they have to make the strategic directions and coordinations of the many existing mechanism and program can also help. So the local, the regional, the national, the regional, all the Human Rights Commission, they should have to write the report to the Office of the Human Rights Commission headquarters, Geneva, which is there in, where is the Geneva?
Switzerland.
Where is the Geneva? In which country Geneva?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. I appreciate. So High Commissioners have been praised for speaking out, providing the accurate information and fighting against the cruelty. So whose cruelty is the anti-social elements, or the rebellions, or the people, those who wants to make the high-handedness, and including the police, including the soldiers. Did you get my point?
Yes.
Says. So all of which advances the human rights observance on the ground. So the Human Rights commissioners, they try to make it out the wherever the abuse and violation of the human rights are there, and they will definitely will function and see that the protection will be given to the humans, because all humans are equal, and every human being having what? Chakula, bamia, unguo, kufia. Every human is having inherent human rights. Now you tell me, every human being having? Please repeat. Every
Inherent human rights.
Surwali. Every human being having the inherent rights of the human rights. Their human rights are alienable or not alienable? Human rights are alienable or not alienable? Sir, we don't know, sir. It cannot be alienable because it's inherent. It cannot be transferred. It cannot be even waived also. Are you following me? Say yes. At least say yes, so that I can proceed. At least you can say yes. Anyone can unmute and say yes, so that I can proceed. I feel that you are with me and I am with you. Nobody's saying yes. There is a problem of the Matandao, I think. Okay, now let us proceed. High commissioners have been praised for speaking out. Already this we read it. And a key measure of the leadership is whether the international mechanism can work effectively to build the capacity of the human rights defenders and the production system at the national level. I said yes. The human rights, they are very effective in the international level. The human rights, they are very effective in the regional level. The Human Rights Commission, they are very effective in the national level. And the Human Rights Commission, they are very effective in the local level. So credibility is essential to the effectiveness of the high commissioners and is linked to the consistency, support of the universality of the rights, and effective fact gathering. So these are the qualities they are mentioned over there, and how the Human Rights Commission should be there, and what is their qualities, and what is their credibility would be there for the effectiveness in the protecting the promotion and production of the human rights by the UN agency. So this that the High Commissioner for the Human Rights is one of the agency of anyone can unmute and give me the answer. Donati Malibua, Sakina Paul is the agency of the UN. Which one? Human Rights Commission. So high commissioners are linked to the consistency and support and universality, and they arise UN human rights work. So a role conflict of the built into the post of the high commissioners, that is the human rights high commissioner, who is a senior UN official, yet also be accountable we the peoples. Generally, the wording comes in the world constitution also, we the people, and in the Indian constitution also, if you see the view the people, it will start the preamble. So according on the chapter author Michael Ignatieff, they said accountability pulls the high commissioner into two different directions. How? Number one, being accountable to the victims. Yes, who are victims, they are accountable. Who? High commissioners, number one. And being accountable to the government responsible for the abuses. Yes, the Human Rights Commission is appointed with the government, and they should be accountable to the government also. And if there are the two accountability would be there. Number one, read anyone.
Being
Being
accountable to
accountable
the
to the
victims.
victims.
Very good. Number two,
Being accountable
Being
to the
accountable to
governments
the government
responsible for the abuses.
for that.
okay. He said you are giving the chorus voice. Okay, I'm the Shida because both voices are visible and audible to me. Even also you can hear in when you are watching the YouTube. So the High Commissioner must be both in UN insider and an outsider at the same time. Who? High Commissioners. They are insiders and they are also an outsiders because they act as a catalyst. Number one, they act as a agent, both the sides, from the victim side as well as the government side, they will act it. And almost, of course, the task is very impossible. The reason is we cannot satisfy each and everybody in the society, including in our own family. We cannot satisfy okay, suppose you are married. Sometimes you cannot satisfy your own wife. Of course, it doesn't mean that biologically, in all means I am speaking. Because every time when you buy a new unguo to her, she say, what you bought very long back, you bought it. So satisfaction is very important factor, and the high commissioners, they act from the both the sides, so they should be very much diplomatic in acting. Of course, it is a difficult task also. So they say it an almost impossible task. Almost they said the word. What they what say? Almost means there should be a possibility is there. So now let us see the next point. So here they made the observation here because the author made the application. We, still the authors of the country studies with the high commissioners, have done the addresses the ameliorates the human rights problem in the country's studies. Of course, these human rights they made a study over there in the Afghanistan, Burma, China, Colombia, New Korea, Sudan, Russia. Why they selected these countries? Can you tell me? A logical question. Why the UN or UN High Commissioners have selected these countries? Why not Tanzania? Why not Kenya? Why not India? Simple answer. Just to me a bongo. Use your brain. Just use your brain. There are human rights violations are there in those countries. Which country is there? Anyone can unmute and read. Which country is there? It is already there on the screen. See, the cursor is there. Which country is there? Anyone can unmute and say which country is there?
Afghanistan, Burma, China, Colombia, North Korea, Sudan, and Russia.
Even India also we can include because there are a very genocide of the Muslims would be there in India. We can include the India also here. So the answers were revealing on the following example shown. Of course, he has given his own observation here. They give the China observation, how the China made there, and what are the violations are there in China. So let us see one of the High Commissioners could not ignore China, not engage on China's terms. A too prolonged strategy raised the human rights problem with the government and engage the technical. What is the main issue in the present context of the China, which will made the such a thing where the world is shaken? Sir, COVID-19. Say.
COVID-19.
Yes. So that is the China's problem is there. Of course, the China's media will not reveal it anything to the media. But anyway, but there are still violations are there. And especially the government is more powerful because the government is socialistic government. Is it a democratic government? China.
Yes.
Which type of the government in China?
A socialist government.
Yes. Now let us see the Russia also, because one of the time the United Republic of Russia, Soviet Republic of Russia Russia is a very big country because of the disintegration. Now it has become, I don't say weak, but still it is strong. So the cost of the open human rights offices in presence of Russia led the high commissioners to remain rather quiet, but resulted in the very little progress in Russia. Of course, that is impact reported that, of course, there also be violations should be there in the Russia, and hence the Human Rights Commission is working in the Russia too. And what about the North Korea? Yes, there also absence of the commissioner's activity and the human rights violations should be there in the North Korea. Of course, in the South Korea also there is some violations are there. Of course, South Korea has made violations over to the North Korea. There is a different issue. So there is a violation should be there in each. And do you think that in Tanzania there is no human rights violation? Yes. Yes or no? There is a violations would be there because sometimes there is a high-handedness of the police also there, or even sometimes soldiers also make the violations. So, but sometimes it comes to the media, sometimes it will not come to the media. That is only the point. So, in that way, that they have given the examples of the different countries, and the point is here is creative high commissioners have played an active role and were often effective in the raising the awareness of many egregious situations. in the needy situations, and necessary but insufficient means of the protecting human rights on the ground. So sometimes it is very difficult to control the mob. See, for instance, one should not beat another person because without any legal cause. But sometimes, no, the strong man definitely beats the weak man. Am I right? Say yes or no. Am I
Yes.
right? So that I could know that you are with me and I am with you. That's why I'm asking the question meanwhile. Say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, if you say yes means I am the confident that you are hearing me. That's my question of asking in the middle. So violations are everywhere, even including the Tanzania also. Don't think that there is no violations, but the media will keep quiet. And sometimes government will pressure, of course, to the media also. And in the Libya also there is a violations are there. That's why the sanctions were there. Of course, now Libya sanctions were made very clear by the UN. So in the different countries, they go through it and they file it, and you know that genocide in the Rwanda, of course, very long back. Do you know or you don't know? Sir, we don't know where is Rwanda. Yes,
We know, Professor.
We
son,
know.
because
No.
in Arusha there is a genocide when headquarter the court is made in there in the Arusha. The UN, of course, still it is, I think it is still going on. Some of the cases and where, and I don't know whether you know it or not. One case argued by one of the teaching staff in the UDSM, but I don't know how it happened. He was murdered. And I forgotten the Maulim name because I was working at the time in the University of Dar es Salaam. He argued on behalf of the victim. I don't know say, whether he's argued on behalf of the. I believe that he's argued on the behalf of the victim. But some other organization, they killed the person when he was just entering to his house. I forgotten his Maulim name. But there is the court are there because to deal the cases when there is a abuse of the human rights would be there in the Arusha that the such a court is there. So what I want to say is these are the human rights commissions in the national level, in the international level, at the regional level, national level, and the local level. So the High Commissioner asked what matters and why such a thing happened. While we may assess each of the commissioners to date for the speaking out, maintaining the independence, and the mainstreaming the human right, each of the human commissioners seems to have the or his work her own goals for success. So, for instance, each commissioner is having their own capacity to deal the cases, to maintain the reports, and to inform to the national level, to the regional level to the international level. Of course, here's one of the given. Mary Robinson, the second High Commissioner, published an autobiography last year, which she titled "The Everybody's Matters." Of course, this is an author observation that he made, and that's why he cited over there the each candidate, those who are expert in the Human Rights Commission for effectiveness of the promotion and protection of the human rights. So Jose Ayala Lasso is the first HCHR gave a priority awarding the critical comments about the human rights. So Sergio Vera Di Mello, and he also have worked and make effectively to see that human rights promotion and production. Party Ramcharan in the examination could not remember all those names, but you can say there are persons of the Human Rights Commissioner, those who are worked effectively because of their leadership, having a good credibility and accountability, and they try to defend the human rights in the effective way through their Human Rights Commission. That's why we can say and that much is enough for that one. And here he given the Navi Pillai has emphasized that civil society is accountability to the matter. So here author has given the data of some of the people, those who are effectively work in the human rights to promote and protect the human rights. So that's what I want to say is. So some would argue that in the context of the United Nations and the countries that have composed in the Security Council, is that what matters? It alone has the ability to make the building recommendation. And in the UN, in the protection of the and promotion of the human rights, the strongest agency is, and that is the Security Council. Not agency, it's the organ. It's the organ of the UN. How many organs of the UN? How many organs of the UN? I don't say agencies. I don't say special commissions. I don't say other committees. I say what are the 6 organs of the UN? And 5 organs there in the New York. Only 1 organ is in outside of the New York. Are you following me? And Security Council is one of the main organ of the 5 among them. And only 1 organ is outside of the New York. What is that organ of the UN? Please speak. Otherwise, I told you already, my tongue is tied, my hands are handcuffed, my legs are fettered. I cannot move further. Please say yes, at least. Unmute, say yes. No, you are not saying neither yes nor no and nothing. Okay, let me proceed it. So now the point what I was giving you over here is the author has collected the data and he has shown to that how they work to protect the human rights. That's what I want to say. So this is about the effectiveness of the human rights, but still we do have some time, at least more than 10 minutes. And you are not speaking when I ask the question. You are not speaking when I ask the question. Even now also you are not speaking. Sakina Paul.
Yes, we're following.
See, when I ask the question, you have to say yes or no. When I ask the question, if you know it, you have to tell me. If you don't know it, I told you that I have given the weapon to you as the armor. Pass on. P-A-S-S, pass, space, O-N, on. Pass on. Are you
Yes.
hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate. So today we have completed the effectiveness. If you happen to see the syllabus, okay, now I'll go to the syllabus. Where is that? It is there on the. Yes, international. No, this is not. I am searching for the syllabus which I put it here because I could not say that it is the international. Could you see on the screen international human rights law? Because this has come into the picture. Could you see on the screen international human rights law?
No.
I put it over here only.
No.
I don't know because I removed from here. Because for my easy, yeah, it is here. You could see, not here. You did not see that clearly. It is there on the. It is there on the screen. You say no. So now we say that no, effectiveness of the United Nations human rights system. Tomorrow we will see, or we'll just, because we have the time now, we can also even go through now. We have the still time. What is exactly human rights? And what is the summary of the human rights? We can just see. We know the international human rights. This is your student. What exactly? I did not keep it open. Otherwise, now it would be easy for us. International human rights. Yes. International human rights. A short history. Can you unmute and read? Can you unmute and read? Can you unmute and read? I say, please.
Okay. France.
Will
Should I start from the phrase?
Will Jones is a director.
Director, Center for Human Rights, Faculty of Law, University of Pretoria, South Africa.
Yes, it is. He wrote this short history, because for the human rights, when you say Pretoria comes first, the Pretoria is the first among the 100 top universities in African continent. One time, when I was working in the University of Dar es Salaam, among the 100 top universities, 4th place is University of Dar es Salaam. But now, I think it has gone to the 20 or 24. So now let us see the phrase. Read.
The phrase human rights may be used in an abstract and a philosophical sense, either as denoting a special category of moral claim that all humans may invoke, or more pragmatically as the manifestation of these claims in positive law. For example, as constitutional guarantees to hold governments accountable under national legal process. While the first understanding of the phrase may be referred to as human rights, the second is described herein as human rights law.
Yes, now I'll give the explanation. The phrase in double inverted comma human rights may be used in abstract and philosophical sense. What is human rights? If you say exactly, it's difficult to make it out. If I ask you, can you see the air? What is your answer? Hawa or heva? A-I-R, air. Can you see the air?
No. No.
But you can feel the air. You can say that there is a air, but it is
Yes.
abstract one. You use the air for your heartbeat. So it is abstract, we cannot see it. And it's a philosophical sense.
Yes.
Human rights also is a philosophical sense. What is human rights? We say it is nothing but no one should hurt you. Number one. No one should have to come into your picture. Number two. One has to lead the life in a practical way. These are the rights should be given over to a human being. Either as a denoting a special category of moral claim. Why say moral claim? We should not lie. If you lie, is a moral claim.
Yes.
And is a morality is there. If any person is drowning in the water, if you know the swimming, at the time you try to rescue him. Are you following me?
Yes.
Yes.
Suppose if you don't know swimming, please don't jump because both will die. Because the person who is in the
Yeah.
water, no, he holds you and he makes you to die also. So morality would be there. What morality? The morality of the ethical values. Suppose somebody is starving, your neighbor is starving, and you have eating. It's the morality is there. The mythology also says at least 7 houses around your house, and you have to see whether anybody is starving. If anybody is starving, try to give at least 2 or 3 morsels of food. I say morsels. I don't know whether you followed my morsels or not. Do you know what is morsel? If you know it, you tell me. If you don't know it, you say pass on.
Pass
Say.
on.
See, morsel means, of course, I don't know whether, how do you eat your food? With the spoon or with the fingers? With the hand.
Both.
Okay. The morsel means if you take the food with your all fingers and put it into the mouth, that is called morsel. The quantity of the food in your hand is called morsels. So if you give the 4 morsels or 5 morsels to that man, at least he feel happy. And he is not only one mythology will say, the morality I am speaking about, because it's abstract and philosophical, I told you. Human rights are philosophical, and what I am speaking is a philosophical. Suppose if you are celebrating the, say, the Good Friday or the what I say, Christmas Day. If anybody is poor in your family, try to help him and give the money to him so that he also celebrate the
Christmas.
Christmas with you. He also
Yes.
celebrates the Christmas with you because
Yes.
he is your fellow brother and he is your jirani.
Yes.
He is your relative. Either he is not a blood relative, doesn't matter. At least the community.
Yeah.
Are you following me?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it not the philosophy?
That's philosophy.
It is a philosophy. So, human rights is an abstract, you cannot see. It is the philosophical sense. Still 5 minutes are there. It is a philosophical sense. Try to protect him, try to save him, try to give the unguo clothes, try to give the shelter. See, there are many people came when the Congo disturbance is there to the Tanzania. Even in the India, I don't know, in the Burma, there is a Rohingya and there is a genocide is there for the Muslims. So many of the Muslims, they migrated to the India, not especially Bangladesh. And the Bangladesh government, they have received it because morality. And that is human rights violations, if any there, some country should have to come to the rescue to give that food, shelter, and medicines also, because for their health. Is it not the morality? And there, human rights commissions plays an important role to see that the people, those who are migrated because of the disturbance or because of the genocide, and they should be protected. They have given the food and shelter also at the cost of the NGOs, government organizations, and good Samaritans. Suppose if you have a lot of clothes, please give them the clothes. If you have the paddy or millets or anything, you please contribute to them. And if you have the money, even though small money, you contribute to them. It is a human tendency. So not only the government will take care of it, it is the NGOs, not only the NGOs, even a good Samaritan and a good people also contribute there. Is it not the morality? Is it not the philosophical way? Is there any duty on you? Is there any duty on you? Answer no. It's a moral sense.
There is no duty.
It's a moral sense, morality, ethical
Yes.
values, and the human
Yes.
being. You try to say, you try to help the human being,
Yes.
irrespective of the
There is no.
creed, caste, and skin. For example, a constitution guarantees to hold the government accountable under the national legal process. See, if any mishap happen, if any riots happen, either in the Tanzania, then who has to blame? Is the government. The government should have to protect it and see that such a rights should not be there. So anytime, at any time it will be stopped. Up to that extent, let me continue there. So the while first understanding the phrase may be referred as a human rights. So human rights are number one, abstract. Human rights are it's the philosophical sense. And the second is described here in as a human rights law. So whatever the rights would be there, then we can say, what is the right there? Yes, nobody should have to hurt you. Nobody should have to manhandle you. And nobody should have to do anything because when you are a plane and you are leading your life in a comfortable way. And that's the inherent rights a person is having because he is a human being. Because he is a human being. And hence, we can say that human rights are inalienable and it cannot be waived also. It cannot be. Can you give the right to somebody else to kill you? Give me the answer.
No.
But in certain cases, it is allowed. Suppose if he's leading such a miserable life, and they said they appeal to the government, they appeal to the court, it is called euthanasia. Of course, euthanasia is sometimes it is a crime. Means killing one person by administering a sindano or a medicine or something and making him to dead. At least he should be peacefully dead. Only in rarest of the rare cases it can be allowed. Otherwise, one cannot kill anybody, even though he himself has writing, put it in writing that please kill me because I cannot sustain my life. My life is a vegetative life because I cannot lift my hand, and everybody should depend upon somebody else. So instead of leading such a life, better you see that I may die soon. Of course, euthanasia is one article is there. There are many articles are there on euthanasia. Did you understand euthanasia?